Many people I've worked with me have come to me and told me that they've been to the doctor or even a fertility specialist and all their labs are normal, but they're still not getting pregnant. It's still not happening for them. If that's you, this video is for you. And tell me in the comments if that has happened to you before. My name is Becca. If we haven't met yet, I'm both a registered nurse and a nutritionist, and I specialize in helping couples get pregnant naturally. I really grew passionate about this over, I would say, the last 10 years or so. When I was in nursing school and shortly after, I kept having friends who were struggling with infertility and they weren't overweight, they didn't have any medical diagnosis, and the doctors really couldn't tell them why they weren't getting pregnant. And I went back to school for nutrition after some health issues in one of my own children. And I came to the point where I realized that I really wanted to help people have healthy babies. And in order to do that, we have to be able to conceive in a good way. So I'm very passionate about helping couples with diet and lifestyle because those things actually have a huge impact overall on not just your ability to get pregnant, but your ability to stay pregnant and have a healthy baby as well. Here I share fertility tips and natural health practices, and guess what? I'm also a Jesus girl, and there's not a lot of faith-based resources for couples trying to get pregnant either. So if that's you, welcome. I'm excited you're here. Let's get into today's content. Most of the time, doctors are drawing blood when they're looking at lab work. Sometimes they'll look at a few other things, but typically they're going to rely on blood work. Now, what I found in the last 3 or 4 years in doing this work specifically with fertility is that there is a simple, easy, non-invasive test that actually can tell us a lot more about what's going in your body than your blood work can. This test is called the hair tissue mineral analysis, or HTMA for short, and it's a comprehensive test that analyzes both mineral levels and toxic metal exposure from a hair sample. Yep, a hair sample. So it's completely non-invasive. It's super easy to do. You actually can do it right from home. This test is really important to understanding overall health because pretty much everything in your body relies on minerals for it to function. In fact, magnesium is responsible for roughly 3,000 enzymatic reactions in your body. So magnesium is a very important one overall, and surprise, it's estimated about 50% of the population is deficient in magnesium, and that's a super important one for fertility, as is calcium, and zinc is especially important for sperm production and health. So it's really important for us to take a look and see, are your minerals at a good level? Are they interacting well together? Are there heavy metals or other things that we need to address in the body? This test is really important and can give us insights into how the adrenals are functioning, how the nervous system is functioning, how the hormones are, is the blood sugar balanced, where is stress, things like that. So it's really, really insightful. While most clinics and doctors are using blood tests, blood is not always the best indicator of how everything is functioning overall, especially when it comes to minerals. And this is because if you remember in high school biology, your blood is always trying to stay balanced or in homeostasis. That means if calcium or magnesium is low in your blood, your body is actually going to pull it from tissues that probably need that to keep the blood balanced because it's like the super highway in the body. The other thing is the blood is looking at a snapshot in time, so like that moment in time. And as we just talked about, the blood is always rapidly changing because it wants to stay balanced. Whereas an HTMA test is going to look over a 2 to 3 month period and see where the mineral levels are at, what the exposure to heavy metals is. And that's another thing. Heavy metals are not going to show up in a blood test unless it's a very acute or recent exposure, like you were exposed to lead paint or something like that. It's not going to show, like, for example, if you have copper pipes, like a lot of us in the US do, you could have copper toxicity from that slow exposure over time. And a blood test just is not going to show that at all. So you can see how vital it is for minerals to be at the right levels and in the right places. And this is so important when it comes to fertility because, like we mentioned before, things like magnesium, calcium, zinc, and a whole host of other minerals need to be in play in the right amounts and effective at their job in order for ovulation and conception and then a pregnancy to take place and hold as well. And I think that's also why when we force a pregnancy through something like IVF, usually is not as successful as when people make dietary and lifestyle changes because they're just not getting the same benefits of replenishing their body. We're forcing that conception to happen. I want to tell you quick about a client I worked with not long ago. Usually people come to me with fertility issues, but they almost always have something going on, whether it's digestive or anxiety or skin issues. I mean, you name it, I've seen a bunch of it. But the really cool thing is that when we run a test like this, there's usually a cascade of events that not only do we get to the fertility optimize, because we work with both partners, the male and the female, because it takes two to tango, but we also see a lot of times that other issues like anxiety clear up as well because minerals are so important to overall mental health and well-being too. So you can see why this test would be a huge piece of the puzzle when you're putting together your fertility picture. And honestly, I think it's one that blood overlooks, and I think it's one that doctors overlook as well. This was a test that was actually used in the medical field roughly 50 years ago, and they've since again gone to blood for the gold standard. And I'm not saying that blood isn't beneficial. I'm just saying it's not the end all be all, and that taking a test like this, especially if your blood work is coming back normal, can really give you insight into where your body might be struggling and how we can replenish and balance that out so your body can do what it was created to do. If this is a test that sounds like something that you would love to do to see if this is a missing piece in your fertility, I would love to hear from you. Click the link below to learn more about my fertility coaching program and schedule a consult with me. In the next video, we're going to go a little bit deeper about the HTMA and talk about what exactly we are looking at. If you're ready to take the next step in putting your fertility puzzle together, this might be the missing piece, and I would love to chat with you about what this looks like in my fertility coaching program. Click the link below to schedule a consult, and I can't wait to see you. In the next video, right here, we're going to talk about the HTMA a little bit more in depth and what kind of insights it can give us. I'll see you there.